We're Sly Withers and we're here chatting with Milky. Hopefully it has gotten better as time goes on. No, I think we're really proud of this album especially, and I think it was a big step up for us in terms of songwriting and in production and how we sort of approach the whole recording process in general. So, that's always something we're looking to improve on, is just how the product's going to turn out.
Our music generally is kind of it's a lot of us just talking about ourselves a little bit, I suppose. We write very personal stuff kind of about our own experiences. That's kind of the whole point of it, I suppose. So every record's kind of been us kind of journaling our lives a little bit, and as we kind of grow older and go through life, things kind of change as they do for everyone, and I think that kind of lends to the themes kind of evolving a little bit through time. I think the last record, Gardens, was a lot about us kind of adjusting to adulthood and stuff, and I think this record, Overgrown, is about kind of settling in and kind of looking to the future a little bit more, that kind of stuff.
I'll probably say a lot of that had to do with working with our producer Dave Parkin. He sort of paved the way for us to take those new steps and be a bit braver with the sounds that we were pushing for. So a lot of that came down to the amount of time that we spent going through different tones and trying different amps and different pedals and different guitars and just testing everything out. We had a lot of time to test things before we actually recorded it properly. I think we nearly had 10 weeks all up in the studio. It was a really long block. So having that time to explore things, and it doesn't matter if you spend the whole day trying to find a guitar tone that you don't end up using, it's something that you can always just throw away at the end of the day and still feel like you had fun doing it. So in terms of working with Parko, he was really good at pushing us to keep the sound evolving throughout the record as well. We didn't want to repeat things, and we were always asking what the record didn't have and how we could scratch every itch throughout the 14 tracks that ended up on it. So yeah, I think that was hopefully covering it. I'd say me and Sam sort of differ slightly, I guess, but for this record we changed it up a bit, and where normally Sam or I would write a song, and whether that's in its entirety or whether it's just a small portion of it, we'd then take it to the band and rehearse it with the guys in the room and figure out where it was going to go from there. Whereas this time Sam and I had the summer before we went into the studio to demo everything, and we spent a lot of time at my house in this little room that we set up for demoing, just figuring out and recording the songs ourselves so that we actually had a finished product to send to these guys that they could learn and get used to, so it wasn't trying to figure it out on the fly in the rehearsal room, and you could kind of think about it a bit more and think about your parts a bit more thoroughly before we went in and did everything. And then when we went in to actually do the recordings, we kind of just threw all those demos to the back of the room and changed everything anyway. So yeah, it was a good way to keep it constantly evolving, but that's sort of how I guess the writing process changed for this one. It was just they were a bit more polished before it ever even got to the full band to rehearse. Tim's our good friend that we've been collaborating with. Tim Elphick, I should say, use actual names. We've been working with him. We've been working with him for a really long time, and he sort of he understands us and how to get the best sort of, I guess, the visual identity out of us. So a lot of what you see coming across from us is also his vision of what's coming out. We also worked with our friend Shannon Stewart, who has just a brilliant visual mind for creating mood boards, and he's a photographer and has been his whole life. So he was director of photography for a lot of the videos that we did, and did a lot of directing help as well. Having that sort of visual narrative to go along with the release, it just sort of makes things line up better and makes sense a bit better, and it helps when it comes time to come up with merch ideas and stuff if there's already a bit of a background there. And I think we've always leaned on the sort of there's a lot of floral elements throughout, even going back to Gardens obviously as well. It's something that comes up in the lyrics of what we write a lot, so that's sort of just something that we have rolled with for a while. But yeah, I don't know, I think in terms of us, we just try to stay authentic, and Tim sort of gets the best and worst out of us to then put into videos and the like.
Probably go with Overgrown myself. It's quite energetic and it's got a lot of moving parts in it. It's probably a little bit different to what we're sort of used to, but it's a bit of a banger, I reckon. So I'd be going with Overgrown.
Probably say Something, just because I think it sums up a lot of what we do in the one song. Plus it's like got elements from all four of us in there. Yeah, it's a good introduction.
I would probably go with Stupid, because I think if I had the chance to explain it to that person, I'd say that like that song is very much like the sum of its parts in like what we did in the studio. And if I could talk someone through that and sort of explain to them all the little bits that we added, I think that's like, it's also not one of the heaviest, but not one of the softest. It's got catchy hooks, and I think it's quite accessible. So hopefully people would like it.
I would probably say the song Passing Through. I think it's the most Sly song on the record, maybe. But then I think they're all Sly songs, arguably, you might say. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's got everything that we've kind of always had in our music, and then with a few more like shinier little bells and whistles on it. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a good mission statement for the record, I think, in terms of like, it starts with like a single guitar and a vocal, and then it gets heavy, you know? Sly Withers, the band. Bit of rock and roll, eh? Bit of rock and roll. Shay, tell them about rock and roll.
I don't know anything about rock and roll. A bit more lighting. I don't know. I think probably the stage production's gone up a bunch. We're bringing Jasper along with us, and lighting guy as well, Matt. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's just sort of gone up a notch since the last tour, and yeah, still working on the stage production, I think. Yeah.
I think performing live is kind of like our bread and butter. Like we're a live band, and you're not going to get the same level of like feeling from listening to the record as you are from being in the room with a bunch of people next to you singing along. So I think that's what people like about our band, is that they can come and have like a shared experience with other people that also enjoy the music, and hopefully like that's a community that we want to foster and build, and like something that, you know, touring can be fucking hard, so having like a lovely group of fans come to a show and like all be friends and all be singing along just makes it that much easier for us to enjoy doing what we love doing. At the end of the day, we're a live band, so that's what you're going to hear, and hope you like it.
I was also just going to say, it's literally the only way we can make money. So, like, very important.
Mine is a Scottish band called Biffy Clyro that I always just seem to keep coming back to. Sam actually gave me like the live DVD of one of their shows at Wembley when we were in like year 9, and that's sort of like what got me interested in playing music. So yeah, Biffy Clyro. I've been thinking recently like a piano song with Missy Higgins. I feel like that would be such a fun time, but so someone make that happen.
I was going to say like Modern Baseball or something. Maybe You're Going to Miss It All by Modern Baseball. That band are a pretty like formative band for us in terms of like the kind of music we make and just the general vibes, stuff like that. Maybe that.
Acapella Inception. Batman. What are the words to this song? I thought they were the same person. What?
Party in the USA, Miley.
Yeah, Miley.
On SingStar back in the day, the first like SingStar rank I ever got was on The Reason by Hoobastank. So let's go with that. Definitely like Wiggles concerts, like multiple. And then we played with them last year. That was sick. In terms of real bands, maybe like Operator Please. That might have been a thing.
My first was Jack Johnson at HBF Stadium. It was weird.
The first one I went to without my parents was probably Arctic Monkeys in Perth.
I think I was Cat Empire at Free Art Centre. Yeah. Or Nickelback. Can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's Cat Empire. Let's go with Cat Empire. Don't tell anyone that.
This one. Best concert I've ever been to. Nickelback with Joel. They don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if this counts, but I think, like, off the top of my head, like a really good set that I remember was Catfish and the Bottlemen at the last Southbound that I went to. That was very, very good. Backstreet Boy. Goes for all of us. Backstreet Boy.
Sugar Magic.
Yeah, it works.
I think we're all like a little scared of international touring. So we're going to keep it homegrown for now. Actually, I think the one day we'll get to play the Fortitude Music Hall, and that will be one hell of a time. Perfect by Simple Plan.
Maybe 170 Russell earlier this year in Melbourne. That was pretty cool. It was a bit of a weird one. We had been locked out of Melbourne for 2 years because of WA border stuff, and the show got rescheduled maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe even 6, and it just kept getting upgraded and upgraded because there was more tickets to be bought and stuff, and we landed ourselves at 170 Russell, and it was really weird and really surreal and super cool. And yeah, it was a bit full circle as well because the last time we played in Melbourne, we supported Tones and I at a bushfire fundraiser show at that same venue. So it was and that was right before COVID hit. So we played this show with Tones and I, came home, the world went to shit for 2 years. The next time we came to Melbourne, we headlined that venue. I think it was pretty sick, pretty cool. I'm a big musical theatre guy, love a bit of that.
This might be a little far-fetched, but for what we see of the industry and how we sort of got into it, I think Paul Kelly is a good one, because he got us all interested. He's our parents' favourite artist from years and years ago, and I think, Paul Kelly, we'll go with.
There's probably a connection somewhere to nearly every Australian band in terms of influence back to Paul Kelly in some way or shape or form, right? It's kind of in all of our DNA, even if we don't like Christmas songs because we're all Grinches, right? Chill out.
Drink more water.
Yeah. Eat more vegetables.
Yeah. Eat when you can on tour.
I think I said it before, but in year 9, Sam gave me a DVD of Biffy Clyro playing at Wembley Stadium, and I was like, shit, that looks hell fun. We should try and do that one day. So, yeah, that's for me.
I think I got a Good Charlotte music video collection DVD when I was in year 3. And I was like, that's sick. I wanna have a spiky hair and play in a punk band.
I don't think I had a moment as a kid. It was probably meeting these guys in high school and then playing in bands with them. That's what made me want to do it. And yeah, just went from there.
Yeah, I never really looked this far ahead to sort of visualize this sort of thing happening, but I believe I was bugging Mum for the first 10 years of my life to play drums, and then I met some good musicians that sort of took me places, I guess.